All right. So I'm thinking about calling the majority report, and what it's about is this division on the progressive side of things. Um, so you really need to already know the situation, because maybe I'll describe it at the end of the video. But basically, the thing is this. So it starts out that you know the way I see it is, the progressive so-called left should be thinking politically, it's strategy. It should be thinking, well, what if Hillary wins and what if Trump wins? What do we do in both of those situations? And then some people, like Jimmy over here, um, Susan Sarandon, they came to the conclusion that, well, we'd be better off, with Trump because we could fight him. There'd be a revolution, blah, blah, blah. People would be galvanized. Now, I agreed with, let's see, Sam Cedar that it would be, definitely better to have Hillary. But once Trump wins, it's sort of like it would be nice if we were all on the same, okay, here's that galvanizing plan. Okay. And Sam Cedar, uh, if he's the guy that says, look, you should make this compromise, and this is the nature of elections and whatnot, um, the people like Jimmy Dore, if they're not as intellectual, um, then they're your voters. And if you're as practical as Sam Cedar, then you you don't just you know you don't alienate the Jimmy Dores. You need to bring them into the fold somehow. Um, Now the funny thing is, Sam Cedar is a progressive. He's not a fan of Obama and Hillary and stuff, but it's just that they're obviously better when you're given that multiple choice selection. But what Sam needs to understand is that it's for him to make the argument. The Democrats cannot just assume we should vote for them. It's like if there's two kidnappers and one of them is nicer, and there's two people that have been kidnapped, and the one person don't trust either one of them, fuck them both. And the other one's like, no, we can play this if we work on the one that's nicer. That's the one that'll give us time in the yard, and then we'll escape. Um, so the pressure I thought was on Sam to go ahead and not expand the conflict. You know, these are our voters here. Um, we need them. So, however, people like people like Jimmy and Tim Black, they are going so far. They're putting out videos that attack Hillary in the silly ways, the fake news ways, the Parkinson's. They are defending Trump Jr. and like, what's it really mean? And they're totally invested on, there's better things to talk about than Russia, Russia, Russia. So if as the Russia story gets more solidity, they're like, they're doing it's fake news. They're on the Trump side, right? This guy Mikasa Sukasa doing the same thing. It's like they have actually gone to the other side and are defending Trump as if the press didn't have the Russia scandal to talk about. Suddenly they'd be saying things that helped us uh, on the Dakota pipeline or something. It's irrational. They have gone too far, and the division is getting bigger and bigger. And there needs to not be a division. Now, I think the end result of this is still that the Jimmies are losing their shit, and the people that are trying to be the rational, you know, genuinely progressive but also realistic, they're the ones that are, it's on them really to come up with a solution to bring it together, and it just doesn't look like that's going to happen, and that's a problem. And I think uh, progressives like Sam need to realize what the grain of truth, or the many pounds of grains, the ton of grain of truth, on the idea that the Democrats betray us, right? In every election the Democrats lose, they're always blaming, the progressives. They're going to blame, and Bernie is more like Sam, and he right now it seems more efficacious to him to work with the Democrats, um, and yet the Democrats are very likely to continue to betray him, and there's many uh, party Democrats that are still saying terrible things about Bernie, like that makes sense, and they're not to be trusted, right? And they don't want the things um, that the progressives want. And basically, you have two parties that are both significantly to the right of progressives. And the ones that are closer to us are like, you're an idiot if you don't vote for me. Meanwhile, they spend their money trying to attract suburban Republicans. And so that's a problem. If the Democrats think their job is to rein us in, how is it ever going to work out in our favor? How are we ever going to not have this DLC kind of Democrat solution where their job is to drag us to the right? And then here we are in the right, let's call it the so-called center, where we love businesses and we don't aren't, we're certainly not socialist, and the right of that has become more loud, and they have their own TV stations, and the whole thing is moving. How far right are we supposed to go, and at what point is it supposed to stop with people like Nancy Pelosi, right? It's not going to. So, you know one solution is, unfortunately, Jimmy Dore is going way too far. On the other hand, we don't need to make them the kind of people that'll endorse Hillary Clinton. Screw Hillary Clinton. We need people that are attacking the Democratic Party. But we can't have a fractured relationship, because when push comes to shove and we want to support some particular legislation, or uh, just any kind of activism, we need to be able to come together as the progressives. Now, I consider the Democrats, way, way, way out there, and I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about that political caste. As far as I know, they're also rich people that want their tax breaks. They also are like Dianne Feinstein or whatever, and want to invade or Hillary Clinton, and want to invade other countries and do all that bullshit. That's what they actually want. They're not just pretending to be that way to get votes. That's what they want. They're way out there. I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about people that want progressive solutions, because we're in a era where it's a weird era where we actually have discovered all of the technical solutions to the problems that plague mankind. We can solve the energy problem. Not super well known, but it's there. We have the knowledge. It can be demonstrated. Our lifespan is way longer than it is naturally. Understanding of medicine, is imperfect as it is, and how it's applied is pretty good. We just have to get it to all the people, and we know how to, we could do that. We are able to feed all the people on the earth if we wanted to. And on down the list, we basically have the technical solutions we need, but it's this folk wisdom from history, people's living in the past, them misunderstanding the problems, and therefore, obviously, they're going to misunderstand the solutions. And the progressives know, or at least are open to those solutions, that things can be better, right? And even just thinking that things can be better opens your mind up to the facts, the technical facts that solve these main problems of society. Now, we don't have a solution to the fact that some MRAs out there can't find love and they hate the world for it, or whatever reason they want to be angels of mercy. They think the world should be shitty because obviously we don't have those solutions, but we can feed and clothe and house and have cheap energy for everybody. And those things, that's what progressives believe, that there's solutions possible, ones we haven't found out. And just believing that makes it easier to discover that there actually are available technical solutions to all those problems. It's not by accident that the, fed up, or no, the fed up left is having big enmity and shit talk storm with the dissatisfied left, that both basically believe the same kind of solutions are available and could advocate for the same solution. Instead, we have this guy basically going over the cliff and starting to be, he's helping the Trump narrative of bullshitness. And this guy letting Michael Brooks call this guy the dumb left. And so both of these guys are helping perpetuate narratives from the right. So this is something that should be solved. Um, so obviously, so I made this video because it's like I don't really know what to say, how to wrap that up. Um, Maybe it needs a website or something. I don't know. All right. So brainstorming.